Hello, everybody, and welcome to round 5 of the British Over the Board Chess Championships 2021 that are taking place right now in Hull. And the games are in progress. They started at 2:30, and we're going to have a look. Oh, I was going to turn on the, let's have a look at the players walking around. There's that. So that's where they're playing, a lovely spacious venue. And here are the games. We're going to have a look now, first of all, at Grandmaster Mark Hebden against International Master, isn't it, Andrew Ledger?
Yeah, just doing tiny little adjustments to make it easier. There we are. That should be about right. All right, let's have a look. So, well, let's have a look at the top matchups. We've got Andrew Ledger against Mark Hebden. We've got Danny Gormley against Nick Pert, that ended in a draw already. We've got
Joe McPhillips
against Marcus Harvey. Neil Bradbury against Hamish Olsen. Lawrence Webb against
Dave Eggleston, Eggy.
So Keith Arkle against Rob Starley, Ferrari fan. Freddie Gordon, Freddie the Mate Gordon. Hey, Nisai. Freddie the Mate Gordon against Svetlana Suksikova. Could be a long one. Louise Head against Theo Cowrie, who was on our stream yesterday and who spotted the mate that that Nick Pert delivered against Freddie Gordon. He spotted that in an instant. So
Chocolate Chess, he was called. Well, that was his mum, is Chocolate Chess. So hi, Chocolate Chess, if you're watching now.
Hi. And then we've got Peter Finn, checkmate a lot, who lost a tough game to Joe McPhillips yesterday, but has been playing pretty well against Olga Latipova. Was she slow sloth, Olga Latipova?
Yes.
Was that her? I think that's right, isn't it? And Steve Willison against Ollie Stubbs on bottom board. So let's go through this one. So I spotted that that Andrew Ledger, playing against Mark Hebden's favourite King's Indian, played a system that I like an awful lot, Bishop G5.
I thought Andrew Ledger usually starts off with C4.
He's done all sorts. He was a very big one knight F3 to G3 player at some stage, but wait a minute, somebody's just calling me from work. Let me just put it on mute.
You can tell them to go away. Yeah.
It's
so this is the same-ish King's Indian.
It's been one of those days, really. Yeah, same-ish King's Indian with Bishop G5. That's one of my favourites. Now I played against Mark a number of times actually. Mark. The very first time when I was 13, I think, Mark played C5 against me, and I won, although that was somewhat on the fortunate side. And I've had quite a few games with Knight C6. Mark's played all sorts of systems. I do consider Knight C6 to be somewhat on the dodgy side, but it's a very popular move with the English players. But here Mark plays something somewhat unusual. He plays C5, that's normal, B5, E6, Queen D2, and then this move, Queen A5. What is the aim of Queen A5? Well, we're going to see it actually in the very next move, because so Andrew played Knight GE2, and then Black plays E takes D5, C takes D5, and B5. So Black gets in B5 super quickly. That's the general idea. Now, after Knight G3, you might expect A6 just to hold the pawn on B5. Oh, sorry about that one.
Yeah.
Thank you very much there, but that's another tab there. Mute. Yeah. Mute. Good applause there. So you might that's a possibility, but this move actually is often quite favoured by engines, just to play it really aggressively and bring the bishop out to A6. And yeah, I mean, you conceded the C4 square, so that doesn't feel so great. But on the other hand, your queen side is thanks, Isai. It's on the other hand, the queen side is advanced, and this B2 pawn's a little bit weak. So bishop A6 takes queen E2, played by Andrew. So pretty quiet way of playing. But in principle, yeah, it's not a bad way of playing. I mean, if White can get some sort of control, get a knight established on C4, then the ending could be very promising. But at the moment, black should have enough play.
Promising for white, do you think?
Well, yeah, at the moment it's balanced, but
Yeah.
I think, you know, I always feel with these positions that black has to. This is the stage where black has to be really precise to avoid getting into trouble. But knight d7, knight e3, knight b6, so challenging for this square. Rook ac1, getting off this diagonal, so you're able to play b3 at some stage. You've got to watch out playing b3 though, because black players can play a quick a5 to a4, which can actually be quite unpleasant. So actually, what you see is that Andrew here is avoiding playing b3 for now and just sort of holding the position. A5 from Mark, knight gf1. This knight's coming around to d2 into c4, and now a4. Very interesting struggle. So Mark grabbing the space on the queen side, and now Andrew starts trying to start exerting control on the position. So bishop attacking d6, knight will come into c4 attacking d6. Knight e5 played, bishop g3.
Actually, I've got a question for you. I asked it to John Mestel the other day, but how do you know when you've got control over the position?
The opponent can't do very much. I feel safe. I feel like I can slip into my comfy shoes, grab a glass of port, and look at the fire whilst my opponent's position burns. Yeah, I don't know really.
So it's sort of when they've got basically no possibilities that are at all worrying for you. Is that kind of what you mean?
Yeah, that's basically it, really. You know, I mean, it's in this position. I mean, you know, for example, in this position, I've got to watch out for all sorts of stuff. You know, b3, f5, whatever. You know, I can think of plenty of things that my opponent can do to destabilize my position. Take away a few of those things, and then I feel I'm in control. Doesn't necessarily mean that winning, you know, or won or anything like that. It just means that I feel then that I'm playing for, you know, one of two results.
Yeah, no danger then. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just, I mean, you know, you just look at the position and you say, you know, there's all sorts of ways that my opponent can destabilize me. So I'm not in control. You know, it's, I'm just, all I'm doing at the moment is struggling to get control. And yeah, I mean, here white is looking to play f4. Could be a little bit double-edged, would weaken e4, but would also chase the knight away from e5 and give white the opportunity to put a knight on c4. So we get h5 from Mark, possibly looking to meet f4 with knight g4. Also just a generally useful move. Keeps this knight out of g4, maybe, who knows. h3 played, and then again that's consolidating f4, and then rook a7 from Mark. After a 14-minute think, which is a hell of a long time for Mark. Doesn't normally spend that time. So yeah, so, and this is a very interesting and very yeah, probably quite crucial position actually. So we've got to have a look here to see. Yeah, I've got to have a look. I mean, the move that you think of, the move that you think of straight away is to play f4. You know, I mean, that's chases the knight away from e5, gives me, you know, chance to get a knight onto c4. Now the big drawback is that it weakens the e4 pawn. So you know, black will most likely go knight d7, and then I can't unfortunately do anything like knight c4 really. Well, d6 is, yeah, d6 is hanging. Yeah, I don't know. It feels kind of wrong. I mean, I could even throw in b3 maybe here, just to cause some problems. And then if you rook d2, rook e4, I'm attacking this one.
Yeah.
Feels, you know, it doesn't feel like you can get away with it. I mean, king f3 is really the move that you think of here. And I mean, it's sort of, yeah, it's a very interesting position. I mean, how is black going to do stuff? Well, as we said, b3 is going to be always a possibility, and that will distract that knight away from e4. f5 is definitely also going to be a possibility. In general, if I had to guess, I'd say that black is doing all right here, but yeah, it's not clear by any means. What could we do here? What's dangerous? I mean, stuff like f5 is quite interesting. Takes, and then are we going to play a move like bishop d4 maybe? Attack this guy. This guy's maybe hanging as well. I'd also want to throw in something like it's in b3 as well, just distract this knight away from there. I mean, if you do something like this, I could even just play a move like rook a2 and attack this pawn, which is possible. That's very, very sharp. So f4 played though after 8 minutes. So
okay, Andrew Ledger.
Yeah, we've definitely got to try
same move as you were suggesting.
Yeah, I mean the one, and I'm not quite sure. I mean, the one very typical thing that you can do with white is to play this move after knight ed7, and after takes, the idea is to play f5, and you're just trying to get a blockade, and you're trying to block this guy in behind the pawn. If you get knight e4 in, for example, you're in a lot of control. But it's probably a bit too much, right? I mean, we've got e4 at the very least in this position. But Andrew's played king f3 very quickly. So yeah, and I mean, in a way, this is not a silly thing to do. I mean, I think it's putting the pressure now on Mark, sort of asking Mark, okay, you've got lots of breaks, you've got lots of ideas. Go right ahead. What are you going to do? And yeah, I mean that amount of possibilities, decisions that you have to take, that can also be quite quite a challenge for black.
So expect Hebbs to have quite a big think here.
Yeah, or Hebbs, he doesn't normally have a big think.
No, I was thinking that.
Quite quickly. I mean, what possibilities are there? I mean, there's the calm knight f6. Simply attacking e4, possibly looking at rook e7. I wonder whether this was Hebb's idea actually originally, just to get the when you went rook a7. There is f5, which is possible, rather more violent, and then you're hoping that you've got some sort of good stuff in there. I mean, there's lots of ideas. Rook e3, knight d5, knight f6 is possible. You're just saying, okay, I'm going to lose a couple of pawns temporarily, but I'm going to get at the center. There's a bishop f5 and bishop d4 is another idea. Just attacking this guy and asking white, what you going to do? Yeah, I mean, maybe knight c4 here is sort of normal, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, quite sharp. I mean, you could have ideas. I mean, I don't know whether it's any good, but here in knight b6, for example, the idea of knight b6, rook e3 check, and then some discovered attack. Probably in this specific position, you've got something like rook d4, breaking up that pattern. But yeah, I mean, you can throw in a b3 at some stage as well. I mean, it's really, there's a lot happening in this position. So that's. Do
you think Hebbs might just try and play a waiting move as well, and kind of see whether Andrew wants to break with like e5, f5?
It's kind of a shame if Mark plays a waiting move, because I do think I'm going to get. I don't know. I mean, king h8 is awful, but just something anyway. Or maybe just let's play a slightly more bishop h8. Also not good, but I mean, I think you've got to start watching out for this one. Got to start watching out for this break. I think this could be start to get annoying because we've got a bit more control over e4. So the thing that really, if Mark plays bishop h8, exactly, I'd be very surprised too. The move that I'd really sort of kind of expect, I think, is b3, to be honest.
Yes.
And after a takes b3, now just a little question.
I want Mark to play bishop h8 now. So there's all sorts of cat eating going on.
What do I want to do now? I mean, bishop d4 looks interesting as well. F5 here would be fun. I keep on trying to make these ideas work. They're all.
You're in a sacrificial mood today.
I'm a bit. I had a bad day at work. So.
Spaced out with work. Oh, I am too.
So here, stuff like this. I don't know. It's not quite there yet, but there are plenty of possibilities here. And I think even just at a very simple level, something like here and here, looks like it could be pretty good counterplay because this knight's been pulled over here. So if you do this stuff, I get an e4 check again. You know, I would b3 would be if I was playing a bullet game, that would be the first thing I'd look at really. I think I'm kind of expecting Mark to play that. I don't think it's probably not any better at all for black, you know, but it's there's quite a lot of possibilities in there. So something like that maybe. I suppose the one thing you've got to watch out with these things is that you know, you do something like this, maybe white can just play a move like knight d2 and then try and re-establish control with knight c4. You know, that's always a possibility. But
yeah, I'd go rook b8. I suppose that only really works if they do go ahead and play knight c4.
Oh
no, hang on.
So yeah,
White
I don't know.
Weak on b2 though, isn't White?
Yeah, no, that's the point.
Never going to be a problem.
That's the point. Yeah, that's the idea. I just give back the pawn on b2.
Yeah,
that's the idea, because you've given up.
And then how's this?
That's terrible for black. d6 is hanging.
Okay.
So I mean, I'd have to do something after knight d2. I'd have to do something else. But these are the kind of things that you might be worried about. But sort of, I mean, I could also look for rook b8, but then we just come back to d2. I suppose sort of coming along there, I could go rook b8, aiming for b3. That's also possible.
That looks plausible. Although I suppose then you might still get e5, f5, because now you've taken the...
There's also stuff like knight c4, but then I go b3. It's not, yeah, I mean, I can think of lots of possibilities. I'm not yet in the mood to really work my way through them, I have to say. But there's plenty of stuff that black can try. I mean, I think it's just a complex, very unclear position, this one. So
yes,
you know, we're going to see what happens. I mean, actually, come to think of it, even moves like this seem vaguely.
Oh, he's gone knight f6.
Got knight f6. Okay. This seemed
vaguely one of the things, one of the possibilities.
Yeah, this seemed vaguely interesting, to be honest, as well. Rook a4 just cutting across, but
it's a shame he didn't play king h8 though.
Yeah, knight f6. Okay, so this is looking for rook a e7, or maybe even straight away knight e4, knight e4. What I was thinking about there actually was playing the move bishop h4. Just with the idea of pinning this knight. I mean, the idea is takes, you can't come over to rook e7 now, you know. And I think, I don't know, I mean, if you go rook e7, then again, knight e4 is not really a threat and you've self-pinned, which is probably not such a good idea. I'm not sure. Yeah, I thought bishop h4 was a little bit, maybe a little bit irritating there.
Maybe then, revert to b3 kind of plans.
You can do it.
Oh, Nizar, your hat survives intact.
That might
we'll see if we can get it by the end of the show.
That might well be interesting. Yeah, would you need to go rook c3? Feels very risky. Go rook c1. Maybe you could then just go rook a4 and hit the guy this way. That could be interesting, actually. Could be interesting, that one. Just to what else can white do? Bishop h4 seemed interesting, but and bishop f2. We've got to watch out for this idea of rook e7. We need to have a good strong response to that. I mean, yeah, knight c4 is sort of possible as well.
Yeah.
The idea being we take back with a rook, a little bit uncomfortable, but b2 isn't actually attacked there, and I suppose we might be able to get out of. If we can get out of it, then might be able to do something. It's tricky, this one. I mean, it really is. It's quite close, but black's got to be careful too. So you know, but for the moment, I think, you know, you sort of say that black is more comfortable, and white could definitely miss something. That would be my feeling. But whether black's really, you know, better at all, or I think it's just dynamically balanced at the moment. Yeah, the pawn on d5. I'm not sure, Nizar. I'm not sure at all. could be quite interesting. I keep on thinking we'll shove in something like b3 and then take on d5, and that gives us this square on b4 for the rook, for the knight rather. But I'm certainly not sure about it at all. Yeah, very interesting. Anyway, I mean, that's going to hot up quite nicely. Well, it is hotting up. It's going to hot up quite nicely. Let's have a look at Gormali-Pert. A solid draw. Let's just whiz through that way. An a6 Slav. Queen's Gambit declined. Bishop g5, bishop e6. If you've seen this 20 years ago, you'd have said that black was a total amateur, didn't know how to place pieces in the Queen's Gambit declined. But nowadays they're with instead of putting the bishop on e7 and developing the knight round here, they're putting the bishop on e6 and putting the bishop to d6. I think this was very heavily influenced by engine practice. So Stockfish in particular always wanted to put the bishop to d6 rather than e7. So e4, chops, bishop e7, knight g3, castles. I mean, e4 you gain some sort of tempo, but yeah, you just end up with an IQP. Knight f5, take off, knight d5, bishop d2, bishop d6, g3, queen c7. I mean, there's not much wrong with black's position. There's not much wrong with white's, but you know, we're sort of talking about quite an even position here.
Yeah, and I guess both these players will be reasonably happy with the draw as well. They both respect each other a lot, and
yeah, you know, I mean, it's I think, you know, as black for Nick draws a decent result, and yeah, with a draw with white against Nick is not such a bad result for Danny either. So yeah. Either position is quite even. I mean, you could play it for a win if you want, but in principle, the game's quite balanced. So yeah, okay, that's just a solid draw on board. This is Joe McPhillips, and solid doesn't really go to.
Solid, no, isn't he? Do you think he's not? Because the crowd was saying the other day that he is quite a solid player.
Hasn't looked it so far, I have to say.
Okay.
But, you look at his game against Andrew Ledger. He played g4 in the Caro. His game against Peter Finn was quite it was quite eventful. You know, so yeah, I don't know. I think he looks like a good active player actually. So e4. This is the old. I played this actually. The old kind of Botvinnik style English, but yeah, with a knight on f3. It has been, I think, you know, strong players pick it up from time to time just because it seems interesting. I think actually Alpha Zero also liked this line as well, funnily enough, but I never really felt that there was, you know, much advantage for white. So yeah, I think Joe's been. I think I've enjoyed watching all of Joe's games. I think they've been really quite interesting. So yeah, bishop b4. I hadn't really seen us play before, so yeah. But certainly from this tournament, I'm thinking, oh, he's you know, interesting.
I played him in Chester, just in a 3-minute game or something, and he was very strong.
Okay, yeah, I mean, just it reminds me. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe completely different, but you know, we saw Brendan Clark playing as well, you know, and in the online championships, and that was again, you know, non-stop attacking. It was very nice, really. So d3, h6, a3. So quite a nice complex. Hey, Mingwitz, thanks very much.
Yeah.
So d6 and then h3. Yeah, Tony Costin, that was one of his favourite lines. You're absolutely right. Knight e7, g3. Yeah, we just get this English system where we've got the centre is all together. We're looking to go knight h4 and f4 and just play on the king's side with a solid centre. So I mean, in general, and I've seen Mickey doing this a lot. An initial black plan of a6 and b5 just to start breaking up this this queen side, and then to play for d5 later. That's what Mickey was always doing, and he seemed to basically pretty much get a good position as black all the time. Marcus is doing slightly different stuff. So queen c8.
That's yes, that's an interesting move, isn't it? Stopping castling because of this Attack on h3.
Indeed. But I don't like very much what he's done after that. He's gone knight g6. Knight's just, I mean, these pieces, they're really in the way of this pawn advance. So they might stop it, or they might just end up, you might end up with completely misplaced pieces. That's the big danger there. So knight f1.
I wonder if you couldn't really go queenside, could you, for white? Just because, no. I mean, you've got like lots of pawns in the middle, but your b file and a pawn's too weak for it.
No, you're not going to go queenside, I don't think. Well, let's see.
Let's see.
Knight f1, knight g8 from Marcus. That's really, h4 from Joe, and then f5. It's quite unexpected. I wouldn't have said that it was very good either, to be honest. You just, yeah. I mean, you're opening the line of the bishop for this one, and yeah, black's not very well developed. So I mean, I like white's position very much here. I think he's got a pretty much a dream opening here. d4. Okay, I mean, it's not it's hardly over yet or anything, but certainly I think white would be very happy with the opening that he's got here. So knight f6 played, black looking to castle, and yeah, Joe starts hitting in the center, just using that initiative a little bit. Takes bishop g4, queen a4 check, queen b4, stopping the black king from castling, c6, c4, takes, and king a5, queen c5, queen staying on the line in order to stop the king from castling. King f7 and castles, and yeah, I mean, white happy to give away that rook's pawn. It's done its task, and yeah, I mean, we're looking for rook b1, rook e1, I guess, bishop b2, that sort of thing.
This does look nice for white, doesn't it?
Yeah. However, Marcus does a very good idea. He doesn't get distracted by the h pawn, but looks to swap off the light squared bishops, and this is actually a very nice idea. Yeah, once you swap off the light square bishops, the d5 pawn will be weak, kingside as well. So rook d1. So yeah, bit of a mystery, but he seems to have emerged pretty nicely, Marcus. Whereas I was saying I didn't like his position at all.
Oh, but if that rook moves, we can put the queen in on g6.
We can do. We can also play bishop takes h6 if we want to.
Yes.
I guess we're going to have some maybe some knight g4s or something. So yeah, maybe time to have a little look. What is black threatening, first of all? We've maybe got a little e4 that can be happening, and then we've also got maybe a knight g4, and yeah, vaguely queen g4 feels quite good. Even rook c3 maybe. So there's quite a lot happening on the king side. If we go bishop h6, then we've got the move e4, which just blocks it. So queen g6 check is interesting. And now what we're going to do, I guess we're going king g8. And if I go bishop h6, then you'll go knight g4 and fork these two. With hilarious consequences. So that's, hey, Max Langerman. So that would probably be quite awkward, I would think, unless we've got some miraculous defense like rook d2. So knight h6 allows rook c2. You can take and go queen d5 check, but then I'll go king g1 probably, and after queen d2 I'll go queen takes g4. Maybe queen d6 check is more subtle first. So okay, let's have a look at that. Let's I mean, it's quite natural, this move. Bishop, queen g6, bishop takes h6, gets the piece developed. Do you have anything better than what we said? I mean, rook f2 feels is the thing you do. You look at in bullets, but it's not really looking that good. And no, I do think knight g4 is by far the most natural move there. And then rook d2. And do we have anything? I mean, rook c2 is quite a threat. Just trying to think what. I mean, I'm just threatening to win this guy, really. So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think rook d2 is natural. Bishop d2.
What about rook? What about just not doing that? I mean, like moving that rook, yeah. To c5, c5, say.
Yeah, I'll go maybe bishop g5. Looks pretty decent for white, really.
Because you're going to follow up with h6.
Yeah, and rook d1, and
So what if we take straight away
on d2?
On d5.
Oh, sorry, in this line.
Yeah.
d5. Yeah, I'll probably go rook d1, probably. I think I'm a bit better. Takes, maybe queen c6. Maybe I can go king h3 even. Try and force you to take on g6 with a queen, and I don't know, maybe knight f6 then. Bishop f6. I don't know. I think if anyone's better, I think white's better there. Is my feeling.
Queen h. Oh, can we move the knight and go queen h1 or something?
Well, you can try.
Can try. All right, knight f6.
Yeah, I could probably, if I want to, I can probably take at least.
Oh, just swap off. Yeah, okay.
I'll be a little bit. I think I'm just a little bit better. I think. I mean, if there's anything that refutes this, it's this and check. But I think after king g1, I don't think you've got. Oh well, you could go knight f2. That is rather more cutting. And I'm putting queen h1.
Yeah.
And also knight h3 check. But okay, if I go bishop h6 then.
Okay. Well, better not get mated, that's what I say.
That is true. Avoiding mate is half the battle.
Top priority.
Yeah, I mean, I can go check rook f8 check. Unfortunately, bishop f4 will drop the mate threat, so I come here, and I imagine that I am going to. Well, am I going to mate you? I'm not 100% sure. But I'll have rook d8. Yeah, I mean, I'll go give a rook d8 check, and then I can give a rook c8 check here. I mean, I'm covering d3, which is quite nice, but you would have thought that I should be able to manage a draw at the very least here as black. So maybe knight takes f2 is the magic move.
Yeah.
And then, but okay. I mean, what I could do, maybe I just do it better.
Okay, h6.
H6. How about that? The idea is queen h1, king there, rook f8. I go bishop f4. That's the idea.
Yeah.
However, what I could probably then do is go knight h3 check. And on king h2, I go check and check.
Yeah.
And survive.
2 pawns up.
2 pawns up. So maybe let's have a look. So queen g6 takes, knight g4, rook d2 takes, queen d5. Do I have another move? I don't really, do I? I mean, king h3, knight f2 looks rather appalling. So king there, and then knight takes f2. This is maybe kind of important. The only thing that I could do that seems a little bit odd is now queen f5. There's rook f8. Simply, that's not going to work.
So what about rook f1?
Rook f1. Mademoiselle. I mean, I could go knight. I can go knight h3 check and queen d2 and just grab you already. That's possible. I guess what I'd be thinking of a bit more is to go queen check, check a Rooney, and check a Rooney here. And maybe try and claim that, that I've got something. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe it's just a draw, right? I mean, maybe it's just a perpetual, but not more than that.
Actually, probably black has something there.
Rook F1 is it feels a bit dodgy, but I don't know. I mean, it's dodgy for black as well, right? So I mean, I can go check, choppy, and check here, and I'm in control, you can say. But I would have thought that white would have enough for a draw here normally. He's quite active. King's a little bit exposed, but still. But basically what I'm thinking is that we're saying that this queen g8 and bishop h6 is possibly not good for white. I've got another idea, but chop chop check, and then knight takes and then knight takes f2. Can we promote that? I don't know. Knight takes f2. And then I don't actually see a way for white to really make something of those quite considerable threats against the king. Just looks like white's going to be comfortable somehow. Might be missing something, some tactic, but I can't think for the moment how that's going to work. I mean, king h2 is possible, but I'm no longer even threatening this one. So
king h2. Oh, yeah.
It's just again, it's more something you do in bullet, and then the guy automatically moves queen d2, and then you go queen e6 check, king there, queen f5 check, and king h6 there is mate, and king h8, queen takes c8 is taking it with check. That's it's more a trap. I mean, I think probably you do anything random, and it's just good for black. I can't see anything after knight takes f2. So then what I could do is to go queen g6. I suppose I could go bishop
d2. Yeah.
Looks a bit odd, it must be said.
Yeah.
But might be possible. Because I mean, queen d5 check, I go king g1. Well, okay. Let's just do the same. Knight takes f2. What's my... I mean, maybe this is just even worse, actually. I mean, bishop h6, I've got queen h1 mate. So
don't do that. Don't do that.
That would be annoying.
No,
h6. Well, even knight.
Attack.
Hey, Sketos attack. Even knight h3 would be decent. No, I don't think bishop d2 is the move. So it could well be that this is just good for black, this one.
Okay, well.
We're going to see. We're going to see. Anyway, the obvious queen...
But very combative play from both sides, actually, isn't it?
I mean, I think maybe, white could also try and play stuff like bishop e3 or something, but we've got e4 and queen g4 coming in. That looks like it's going to be a bit unpleasant for white. Quite surprised, actually. I had the feeling that white was really the one doing all the pushing, and now all of a sudden it just seems to have turned around a little bit. I don't know whether we could...
bishop, you kind of want to go bishop h6, don't you? Because the bishop otherwise has not too much to do, the black bishop.
No, I mean, if you go bishop b3, we'll go knight g4 anyway, and it's still quite unpleasant, so yeah, I'm not sure. It's going to be a bit of a
wait. What? So you can't take on g7 because they're just going to take on f2 and do something horrible, I guess.
You mean?
I just mean bishop. Just queen takes.
Queen takes, yeah.
Queen takes.
Bishop d2 played. Bishop d2 in this position.
D2. Oh, they've done it. Oh, bishop d2 now.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
E4 feels quite. Yeah. I think black's on top, and my apologies to Marcus. I mean, I've been commentating on this game as if white was, but I'm sure white was doing very nicely early on. Somewhere when he starts getting these moves in, you sort of feel, well, this is, I'm sure White should have something, d5, c5 or something, maybe a throw in a rook b1, or I don't know. You feel that White should have some way to get a good initiative. But yeah, I mean, what Joe did was very, very reasonable. But yeah, I get the feeling Marcus has rolled with the punches, and now he's got a very, very decent position, I think. So going to be interesting. Going to be interesting. Well, it is interesting already. Oh, we've got a game there already.
Oh gosh.
But we got, let's have a look, quiet positional game, this one. Neil Bradbury against Hamish Olsen. Jonky. So this was a Catalan, who obviously heavily influenced by the England under-8s and under-10s.
Yeah.
The Catalan was the favourite opening. Good to see strong, experienced players learning from juniors.
Yep.
So Queen c2, c6. I played the system with.
Are you going to take up any of the under-8s openings?
I might play the Catalan. I have to say, it's a very sensible opening.
I already do from time to time.
Well, I mean, they already. I mean, it was also quite a contrast, really. But it was a sort of a Natasha Regan themed tournament because we also had loads of Moras.
We had some Moras too. Yeah.
So if you're ever wondering who is the secret coach of men of England's
not me. No, it's not. I cannot confirm at all.
Who else would play the Mora? So yeah, knight c3 played, and that's not a normal move. Knight c3. b3 is often played just to protect this pawn on c4. Knight c3 is fairly sharp, and black reacts, quite sharply with.
What's the favourite thing for black against the Catalan? Sketos wants some tips.
Yeah, hard to say, really. I mean, d takes c4 and knight c6 is
King's Indian. Yeah, I like that.
is a pretty common line. And bishop b7, bishop g2, castles, and then d takes c4 is the classical main line. This line that black plays here is one that I've played a lot with a lot of success, actually. Even just it's very solid, but I've won a lot of games with black with it. So yeah, but the Catalan's a tough opening, very solid, and hard to really find any weaknesses in White's setup. But it's a bit more aggressive with knight c3, and d takes c4 is a generally good reaction. A4 played by White, stop b5. At some stage, sometimes you can even play a move like e5, actually, and just open up your position like this. I don't know whether this is one of those positions, but the idea is to do something like this and play actively. Yeah, Lord knows whether this is one of the positions in which you can do it. There's something very similar where you can do it, but I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, a5 played, and that's just to give the knight a square on b6. E4.
I'm just catching up on the other chat. So hi to Mark, good evening, and also Pert and Gormally. Yeah, they're both favourites for this tournament. There's a few of them, the top grandmasters, but Pert and Gormally are certainly favourites for this.
Hey Mark.
Marcus as well. Marcus Harvey as well. I think would be a pre-tournament favourite. A little bit younger player, but just got his IM title, so he's also in form.
Indeed. And there's of
course, we'd want to see Hebs or Keith win as the senior players who are also both got good chances, and we'd want to see some of the youngsters do really well as well.
Yeah, Theo or Freddie. So I mean, there's I think there's still lots of potential still in the last 4 rounds for lots of upsets and thrills. So it's going to be going to go to the wire, this one, I think. I mean, actually, from that point of view, Mark's game against Andrew Ledger today is quite key because if Mark were to win that one, then suddenly he's starting to put a bit of distance between himself and the following group. So could be interesting. So anyway, knight b6 played, holding that pawn for now. Long term, you'd think it'd be hard to hold on to. White's going to have to play knight e5, take c4 at some stage, but Black's hoping that the time that White spends doing that, he'll be able to use to develop. But somehow, yeah, I'm not sure. I thought, yeah, so often you'd be looking to try and get in b5 somehow, but it's not easy. I mean, if you go rook b8, go b5, then bishop f4 hits your rook. So knight b6 played. I mean, again, e5 could also be quite interesting here as well. Takes, especially since you've got this square on d3 for, you know, after e6, you could even consider something like this, maybe. I'm just making it up, really, and then queen d3 after, quite possible. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe coaches are recommending d4. Maybe it's the new fad. It's quite good to go d4. I'm a little bit surprised when juniors play the Catalan. I mean, it is quite solid and restrained, really. And you think, you know, you're young, you can do that when you're old. But if you're doing this already when you're young, what are you going to do when you're old? You know, it's well,
I actually wonder though on that sort of grounds, because juniors sometimes don't like playing against d4. So if you're a junior and playing d4 and you're playing other juniors, that might work quite well for that.
Well, it is true. I mean, in general, it is much harder I think for juniors to get to grips with 1d4 openings. So playing them when you're young, you know, if there's something you don't like playing against it, play it by yourself.
Freddie v Svetlana about to end.
Let's have a little look. Yes, no, it looks like Svetlana's a piece up there.
That looks like a bishop down for Freddie.
Yeah, should we have a quick look what happened?
Yeah.
So this was a Caracan, and a two-knight system. So quite solid, but white gets a small edge here. So not a bad system at all. F4 may be a little strange. I think Queen D3 is a little bit more normal. May be wrong. Might just be a subtlety here. Queen G3, Rook E8, Bishop H6, Bishop F8, Rook D1, and then Queen B6. Next move from Freddie's feels a little strange. I mean, Bishop C1 would be my initial reaction here. You know, just bring the bishop back, cover B2, and you've just got the two bishops forever. B3 is a little bit weakening. I wouldn't, you know, weaken my queenside dark squares unless I had a very good reason for doing it. Queen A5, funnily enough, and now, yeah, we've got multiple things really. Knight E4 and also Queen A2 is threatened. So actually, that's a little bit tricky. Now, Freddie went for a pawn sacrifice, which is quite interesting. Rook B1 and Rook B7. Must be said, the black's pretty solid here. You know, it's not going to be easy to really make something of this. And A5 from Svetlana, just playing A4, A3, A2. Actually, is the idea. It's not super subtle, but it's extremely effective. You know, and not easy to play against. I mean, I don't know whether something like Bishop C2, maybe you've got to start watching out though for Knight H5 ideas or something. Yeah. So Rook A4, Queen H5 was played. Bishop, Queen D1 check. Oh
no! Good
Lord, that was
oh dear.
That was nasty. So King H2, but Queen A4 was not played by Svetlana because Bishop F6. Well, Bishop F6.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but I think she'd looked at the tactics carefully here. So, Knight H5. Yeah, knight's protected by the queen, which is an important detail. So, I suppose the one thing I'd be thinking of here would be Queen C7. That feels like a natural move.
Oh.
But maybe it's nothing.
So you can't take on D3. You can take on D3.
Yeah, I mean, just well, I could take on H5 then. Actually, that would be quite decent.
Yes. True.
I wonder C7. I mean, there's some sort of nervousness generally for black. But I'm just wondering, Queen C7.
What if we take on A4?
Oh, that's probably losing. I think we go here. That's horrible.
Oh, because of H1. Okay.
Queen C7. What would you do there? I mean, I guess you're going to take on the Hicks. I mean, Queen F7 is coming in anyway. I mean, Bishop B7 might be possible, but
yeah.
Feels a bit dubious, to be honest.
So bishop takes and then just take the rook or something, or take the...
Yeah, you could. It's just, I'm just thinking, you go bishop c5 or something, and then
you've still got all the threats. Yeah,
I've got all the threats still, so I don't think that would be a good one. So queen c7, queen d3 looks the best, but then I take, and take, and unless I'm losing, well, maybe
bishop d6.
Yeah, I mean, I go f4 here. I mean, g3, I've got queen c2, which could be unpleasant, conceivably.
Yeah.
Is this going to be? Yeah, it's going to be mate. I'll have check there like that. So, I mean, it's not 100% clear, right? Because I mean, I could do. You could think I could do something and then go bishop f6 or something. But probably, stuff like this. Probably I go rook f8 first or something, and you're a bit too spread out. Yeah. It could be but I think if I go after bishop d6, I go f4 here. I think I'm still fighting.
Yeah.
I think I'm still fighting. I might well be missing something. Something.
So now Exeter's chess is suggesting f6.
Oh, in this position.
I think maybe in this position.
Ooh, a pretty brave move. I mean, I could just go b3. Yeah, okay, and then you want to. I mean, yeah. It's harder to refute than, than I feel should be the case. I mean, I could do something like bishop e3, and queen a4 is still quite risky.
Mm.
Quite risky. Although, I mean, you've got f5 then. Got g4. Little bit bananas. Maybe f6. Wow, f6. What a move. Wouldn't have expected that to work. Could be. Looked, yeah, bishop h6. I'm just thinking we just take on d3 probably. And then if queen f7, king there, I'd take on here, I think. I'm just sort of covered, really. This rook's not doing very much, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know. Queen g4 was played. Let's have a look at that. But then we got bishop d6 check, g3, queen b3. Oh, we're going to see. Well, actually, Svetlana played it very, very, very nicely, actually. Queen h5, go for queen c2, but played queen f5, hitting f2, and also pinning this bishop to the queen. And after king g2, then h6 was, well, that was curtains, basically, because we're just winning a piece. You've got to say, these were excellent tactics from Svetlana. Very nice game, actually. And, well, that didn't last long there. Rook c6, and maybe did resign here, or maybe a3 happened. I'm not sure. And but anyway, it's 1-0 to Svetlana. So hard luck, Freddie.
Yeah, well played, hard luck, Freddie. Well done, Svetlana.
Let's have a look. We can just take a quick look at this game. That looks like a piece. What happened there?
It does.
d4 e6. A Bogo Indian. Very solid Bogo Indian from David Eggleston. Putting pieces in the center of the board and not doing anything complicated. Slight edge for white, but it really depends on the black player, really. I mean, if a black player's just happy to do this, play nice and solidly, not do anything special, then can be a very nice, easy way to play a decent position without needing too much theory. Rook c1, rook e8, knight h4, g6, bishop h3. That feels a little bit odd to put pieces like this. Knight f8, knight f3, rook d8, e5, knight e6. Oh, okay, bishop e6 in this very interesting move. F takes e6. So not going for the exchange of queens, giving black a weak e5 square, But yeah, I mean, black's going to start playing c5, and obviously these light squares here are weakened. So yeah, chances there. Very interesting idea. E3 played, which is weakening some more light squares. Knight d7, and here black offering the exchange of queens just to get in e5.
Would it have made any difference earlier on if white had put the knight in rather than the queen in on e5?
Here, you mean knight e5?
Hmm.
Probably would have gone c5, I guess, maybe.
Same sort of thing, yeah.
Undermine the guy. Quite similar, I think. I mean, generally white's fine. It's just that white's played a few odd moves, really. You know, knight h4 to f3 to e5 and bishop h3. So you'd expect somehow black to be doing, you know, all right in this sort of position. So knight c7 takes rook e7. The knight's hopping around all over the place. Yeah, I mean, what actually happened in the game? It was, yeah, you're wondering whether does white have anything here, because there's a lot of tactics everywhere, or is everything just hanging? I mean, white tried this line, quite interesting. Just hit e5, and after knight c5, there's the pin. So the bishop is pinned to the rook.
Yeah.
h6 happened, and this is a bit unfortunate, really, because if the knight retreats, then this knight comes to e4. So I think this was just probably a move that that white had missed there. So b4 was played, but then knight b7, we're protecting the rook on d8. So we're threatening to unpin this one. E takes d5, hg. Yeah. White resigned.
That's the piece, yeah, I see.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm not quite sure. This was quite a confused situation. And black, yeah, I'm sure white had something much better than this, but yeah, not 100% clear what. Feels like black probably is holding everything together. You know, white doesn't quite have enough to put black away, but obviously white should not be completely lost in this position. Keith Arkle against Ferrari fan.
Okay.
So yeah, Keith is the exchange up.
That sounds good for a start for him.
That's good for starters. Let's have a look here. What have we got? So g6 played. Not going to be an easy one, this one. I think Keith's got a. You'd really like to try and find some sort of concrete way of doing it, because if you're going to end up, you know, doing something like this, then it's sort of unclear whether you're any better, really. You know, I mean, I go knight e3 checks, and well, actually, could even be in trouble, actually. So what appeals to me first of all is this line, actually, here in rook h6.
Yeah. What about knight? Oh, yeah.
So king g5 is the move that you think of, hitting the rook and hitting the knight. And then I go rook h1.
Do we have to go king?
Oh, Simon Brown says you should play the whole game and be amazed. Okay.
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
Let's be amazed then. c4, e5. Oh, Keith playing the English.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that from him. So playing, yeah, just playing this this main line against the yeah, reversed Sicilian. Bishop e3. You don't normally I don't think you normally combine bishop e3 with a3 and b4, to be honest. I thought, but okay.
What are we going to be amazed about? Let's predict. Is it that Keith avoids a queen exchange?
Could be. Could be. A6, rook c1. So all going quite sensibly. Now he offers a queen exchange. Come on.
He offers a queen exchange.
7. Rob Starley declines it.
Yeah.
Okay. 5 played. Ooh. Then Ferrari fan. Rum.
Ooh, going for the attack.
Comes into action there.
Nice.
Rook g1.
There wasn't any. Nothing. No. Okay.
Not a chance of guessing, says Simon. So bishop e7.
Guessing.
Knight d2. Bishop h4.
Dramatic double blunder.
Okay. Okay. So bishop h4 played. What?
What?
Oh my goodness! Knight e4, bishop f2, knight g5. Oops, because queen h4 allows knight f7.
Nice.
So
Very nice.
Knight d8, knight h3, bishop d4.
Okay.
So Keith is actually a queen for a knight up. Knight on h3 is of course hanging. So Keith played rook c1 and got hit by rook c6.
Oh no. And the same, and then the queen goes the other way.
Well, I mean, rook takes c1 is going to be the
is
going to be the threat. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, here, knight. This might be. Well, I don't know. I can understand it's not attractive to play. So so Keith actually played queen takes c6. Oh my goodness me, knight takes c6. But he's exchange up. But yeah, obviously it's not. It's somewhat.
Wow.
Somewhat different. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Simon. Thanks for pointing that one out. Okay, we've got. I can imagine that both players are just a little bit. Yeah,
it's all still happening, isn't it?
Feeling a little bit crazy after that. That happens. You never quite get your equilibrium back. So yeah, Keith put his knight on f5, which is a kind of an odd square, really. Rook h2, king f7, h5, king f6, king g2, rook d7, g6, knight h4 played. Okay. Rob, that's true. He's only got 1 minute. I mean, he must have 30 minutes extra in there, doesn't he, at the 40th?
Move 40, he should, yeah.
Yeah, so I think he should be getting an extra half hour there. Yeah, I was looking at this one, and then after here was what I was thinking of. Because at GF, I've got rook 1 h5 made. But I don't know whether we can do something like, I don't know, knight f6 and win the piece. Maybe we can. Maybe that would be possible. Have I got anything clever? Ugh. Not sure. Don't think so. Okay, so Keith's got knight h4. That knight's not in great shape there. Yeah, I mean, black's not in such bad shape, really. It's going to take ages for white to get back. To get together there, really. I mean, that knight on h4 is terrible, and but okay, yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe like bishop d4, for example. You know, and you looking to go bishop b2, and then just ask white, you know, where are you going to put your pieces then? I mean, are you going to put the king to h3 or something and go knight g2? But you know, it's just really, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit difficult, really. So yeah. I mean, this is going to be a pretty. Oh, g takes h5 played. My goodness, I was thinking of doing that later, but not immediately.
Yeah, because the knight can come into f5 in a minute, can't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was sort of thinking. I was actually thinking. Yeah, you know, when we were looking at this sort of stuff, that you play bishop d4, and then you can even go rook g7 to threaten gh. But immediately knight f5. Yeah, I don't know. This is getting. This is maybe just nibbling a bit too quickly at the offered pawn there, because I don't quite know. I mean, I suppose you're going to take knight e3, maybe. I don't know. I mean, simply, you know, white's chances now he's got a good spot on f3 for his king of keeping control are just much better, I think. I think this was a big mistake. G takes h5. Unfortunately, I think there were many better moves than that. I think just simply
you might not have been 100% sure he'd reach time control. I wonder.
I think I get that feeling. Yeah, I get that feeling too. So yeah, a shame. I think bishop d4. I'm not sure the black's even worse, to be honest. You know, not with these queenside pawns, knight coming into e3, this king weak, this knight bad. Yeah, you know, I think would have been a very decent position for black. So, well, that's Keith will keep on grinding that one. Let's have a look at Louise against Theo. So,
oh yes, this would be an interesting one.
So what have we got? Theo is quite a bit of time up, a pawn down, but with some activity. So yeah, knight c5 played, which is kind of was kind of obvious, I guess, hitting the bishop on b7. Oops, good lord. Sorry. Now, question is, what sort of ideas do we have here? In some ways, f4 feels just unbelievably tempting.
f4, can we take?
Well, if you go rook f4, I've got queen d1. That's the first idea. And queen f4, I was... Yeah. Well, I could go knight f3 check. Takes and queen takes here. Possibility. That's two pawns, really. Slightly weakened king. I'm not 100% sure. I'd like... I mean,
oh yeah, because we've got an open G file and an open. This would be nice for white, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, no, but I think it's a good position for white in general. You know, so I'm trying to sort of create some chances. I mean, I was you know, vaguely hoping for knight g6, but I guess we've got queen d6 or queen g3 even hitting the knight on g6. So that's not particularly working. Would we have any other ideas? I mean, we could go rook f8 maybe.
Yeah.
Might be some chances there. I mean, it's just always the fact that I've got this knight f3 check to pick up the knight on c5 that maybe gives me a bit of latitude with what I do, you know. But I'm not sure. That's maybe a bit too much. But is there anything else that we could? Yeah, queen b3 is the other line, and then you're going to pick up this one. And I hadn't quite decided what I was going to do about that one. So yeah, maybe we should simply go bishop a8 or something, or bishop c6. Yeah, that's quite
bishop c6. Okay,
that's a pretty sensible move, and hit the pawn on b2, and just ask, you know, just you say to white, okay, I'm not quite sure what I can do with my move, but let's have a look what you can do then. Yeah, I mean, pardon me. Allowing rook takes b2 is risky, not necessarily bad, because the black pieces are very, very loose. But that might be, yeah, you could easily feel a little bit uncomfortable about doing that. So you know, a move like b3.
I think white should have something. What about like rook d6 trying to come in knight e6?
Yeah, rook d6. I can go rook b2 maybe. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I mean, here, I've got these threats of knight g4 or rook f2 as well. Not without. Yeah, I mean, white's played b3, which I think is very, you know, is very sensible. Just stopping rook b2, you know, and I think that's a good move just in general. Especially as you're getting short of time. Louise has got 2 minutes for the time control, and a5 from black, which is also sensible. I think rather than you know, spend a lot of time trying to make the tactic work, you just put a pawn on a protected square. Don't give white the opportunity to take anything, and then just say, okay, white, it's your turn to think again. That can be quite effective as a tactic. So maybe now we might see Natasha's move rook d6. That might be a very sensible move. And then you're aiming to follow up with rook 1d4, I think, you know, which would be a nice...
Oh, yeah, to try and go across.
a nice configuration of the rooks, I think. So yeah, okay. What are we going to do here? Rook d6 played. Now,
Louise, trying to attack here.
And not doing a bad job either. What can I do for black?
For black, right. I'm going to rethink now. For black. All right, so what if you do your knight g4 plan? White just drops back.
Pardon me. I'm looking at f4 followed by rook b4.
Ah, because now, now all this queen b3 stuff's not possible.
Rook b4 immediately.
Yeah. Oh, Simon Brown's thinking along the same lines.
Yeah, I mean, knight f3 check is just, these sort of ideas are not good. Because I'll just go queen c4 check. That's annoying. I mean, you could conceivably just play a quick king h8. That would also be possible. And just say, okay, I'm going to carry on just making quick moves and putting the pressure on you. That's possible.
All right, but then if we do this rook d4 you were mentioning before, that might be even more scary now.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit. It feels like White's got plenty of control now. That is definitely true. So maybe I should. Well, if I go f4, queen f4, rook b4, any random tactics there? Rook f8 is also possible.
Rook f8.
The question is, have I got any? Is there any purpose to what I'm doing? I'm gaining some tempi, but have I got any threats coming out of it? Not 100% clear. I could go rook b4.
Yeah.
But maybe the best would be to go rook b4 straight away. Let's just try that one. Whee!
Okay, so we could still do rook d4.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
This one would be nice.
Not that one. Not doing that one.
Where are we? Rook b4. So rook 1 d4. Now, precisely at this moment, we play.
For black, well, you can't do knight g4. So.
All right, we'll go rook f8.
Rook f8. Okay. All right.
Theo's
I'm
got
not going queen e3.
No.
But you don't know what I am doing. Queen g3, yeah.
Yeah, I thought maybe rook f3.
Ooh, how exciting. All right. Should we throw in a check?
Can do. In here, actually. Okay. I'll put it on there. Not sure about 307. It might even be better, actually.
Bishop. I reserve the right to take this back. Bishop d3. And then take the rook we better had. Yeah. Yeah. This might not be very good.
Not sure. There was. I mean, it's quite random, right? And it's a bit desperate as well. But there were kind of ideas in there anyway. Theo went king h8 reasonably quickly, and White went rook c1. Actually, not rook 1 d4.
Yeah.
That's also a sensible move, and yet I'm not quite as happy with it. In some ways, I guess, because I feel like I feel like, yeah, we had lovely control over the D file, and we could have gained control over ranks and files really, and I think this is a bit more. Also, the rook's loose, which worries me. So yeah, I mean, in general terms now, f4 is definitely interesting, and I mean, I think that the idea was to protect this knight on c5. I think Louise was worried about these f4, knight f3 check things, but I don't think they were worth worrying about. I think they were actually improving White's position. So okay, so if we go something like bishop a8. I was thinking more about an f4 again, to be honest. Not my pieces, of course. So that is there's a certain caveat to it, but it does look quite tempting, really, with rook f8 to follow and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bishop a8 played though, and
okay. So
I mean, this is perfectly fine. I mean, this is Black simply not committing himself, not giving White, trying to give White nothing really.
All right. What about knight d7?
Knight d7.
Yeah, just to try and get on the 7th rank.
Yeah, knight d7 was decent. Knight e6 played as well, also a good move actually.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, actually, this is kind of annoying because we've cut off. We sort of cut off. We're threatening queen g7 and also queen takes c5 here.
Yes.
So
yeah, that's better actually. Well done, Louise. But can we defend? So we could defend with just knight g6.
Yeah, this is not looking very pretty.
Because then you can do rook.
Yeah, anything at some stage. This is really powerful, actually. Oh yeah, wasn't a particular threat before. You could take on e6, take on d1. That was why Louise went rook c1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, we were looking at early counterplay. I think. Yeah, this is a danger, of course. If you don't do anything at some stage, you get attacked, and this somehow has happened now.
Yeah, I can see why Theo did it. Sort of a quiet move to make Louise think when she's short of time.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that was. Oops, pardon me. I think that was really the idea, and it can work, But just here, Theo's left himself open, I guess, to a tactic, and this is looking rather unpleasant now.
So what? Oh, yeah. Just if you defend, you're just going to get your knight taken.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's too late for f4 now because just queen takes g7 amongst.
So we've got to fling in knight g4 again.
We can fling it in, but after
that's what we've got to do.
I mean, we're not just going to play it. We're flinging it.
We fling it. I think we have to fling it.
But after king
g1, circumstances, yeah.
After king g1, yeah.
Yeah, well, at least we haven't been mated last move.
No, and we've had a good fling at least. That's very important. Yeah, no, it's too few pieces now. Taking part in the attack. Yeah. I think all those f4 moves somewhere. I think I have the feeling that after rook c1, just the pieces are just a little bit loose. I think this was kind of your swindling chance, really. To go for that and. Yeah, maybe get some random chances going. I think that was probably the move you needed. But here after knight e6, I think it's very difficult indeed for Black. Knight g4 check has been played. We really would have. We
should have been watching it on camera.
Yeah, we should have been watching to see whether it was flung or not. But yeah, king g1 played, and. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
So now Black does not have any good move. What about rook b4?
Rook b4. That is possible.
I expect you're just going to take this knight off, aren't you?
Well, do we need to bother? What if we did something like rook c7 or something?
Hmm.
I think that's the problem. You don't really have any threats. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I mean, I think this is, yeah.
Tricky.
Yeah, a bit tricky, this one.
Okay.
Peter Finn against Olga Letipova. Well, Peter is going to have a long game, isn't he? You can see. This is a very pleasant ending. Probably winning for white, this one. So you'll come in somewhere with the king or with the knight. A huge array of outposts to play with. So
it's because this bishop's bad because of the pawns all being on that same.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Color.
Yeah, no, it's going to be. This is guaranteed winning for white.
There's no guarantees.
There are no guarantees, but I'd reckon rook g5, knight e5, tying the something to there, king coming in.
Yeah, does look very, very nice. Yeah, I agree.
Very, very strong there.
Okay.
And then Steve Willison against Ollie Stubbs. So, exchange up for white. Yeah. So in principle, looks winning. So we'll see whether white can do that. But yeah, in principle, looks winning for white, this one. Let's have a little look at the top game match. We haven't seen that for a while.
Yes.
And who knows what happened?
You knew what I was about to say then.
E5 was played. Okay, it's this pawn sacrifice. And yeah, I suggested playing b3, actually, just to free b4 for the knight. But Mark took, went knight fd7. Okay, and well, Andrew went basically for this position. Ooh. dc4. Okay, I was just wondering. Yeah, I'd expected. I'd sort of expect knight c4 to happen first, maybe. Okay. It's just I'm not quite sure what that knight on b6 is doing somehow. I mean, it makes me a little bit nervous. But yeah. Okay, rook e7, rook d3, knight c6. I might just be completely wrong. So rook b5. Wow, this is getting quite sharpish.
Yeah.
d6 threatened, but there's a big potential fork here. So rook e4 played.
Yeah.
d6 covering it. No knight e5 check. Rook e6, and then knight d5. Again, Andrew playing very boldly here. Just leaving this fork open, but of course the rook on e4 hangs. And now rook c4 played by Mark. I wonder, rook c4. Rook e1 feels like a move, to be honest.
So rook e1.
I've got knight e5. I've got, rook f1 maybe. I don't know. That felt like a. I mean, if you go knight e7, then I don't mind at all. I mean, this knight's passive. But maybe, and I've got knight e5. I don't know. Rook e1 felt more natural to me. Mark went rook c4, and then knight b6 happened. Again, quite a bold move again. Just ignoring this fork on e5. Here you can just take with the rook on e5. And after knight b6, well, I don't think that white's worse anymore by any means. In fact, white is probably well, if anyone's better, then white's better here.
Yeah, that d pawn is impressive.
Yeah, that d pawn suddenly become a monster. I think missing knight b6 was quite serious there. So rook e8, b3 now, takes, rook c3 takes. Wait a minute, rook c6.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I think, is this just winning for black?
Can't we just go rook d8?
Yeah, I go king e4 then. Oh dear. That's not good. That is not good at all. So, okay, I should probably go something like King F8, maybe. So I go Rook C3. Something like this. Oh, I don't know. What I want to try and achieve, I want to get my king in front of the d pawn. I mean, that's basically what I want to achieve. And then I'm wondering how I can do that. Remembering that d7 is currently a threat here.
It's not. We have to stop that, don't we?
Well, I mean, I could go King G7.
Okay.
I mean, what I want to do, I want to keep my rook here as long as possible because it stops the king from coming across.
Fine.
It stops King Gong. King G7 he's played, Mark.
Okay.
So Rook C3.
Yeah. We have to go F5, do we?
F5, not sure. The problem is if you start doing this, I mean,
and then this check.
Actually, I'm not sure that this is right because can't we just go D7 and Rook D3 now? Is this a winning king and pawn ending? Is the
well, I suppose white would get the king in.
Yeah, yeah.
And then F6, black goes F6.
That goes F6. That goes F6. I'm not 100% sure. It's certainly not. You'll be a bit lucky if this holds for you. I don't know. Let's just say here.
Yeah.
So you go maybe go G5. You swap off the pawns. There. Oh, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. I was thinking. I was kind of thinking more. Should I go something like Rook B8 maybe.
Take the pawn.
Well, I don't know. D7's a bit risky. Maybe okay. Maybe go do my King F8, Rook C3, and Rook B8. And then the idea is that I want to get my king round here and keep my rook active. That was the idea.
Okay.
The only problem with that was that you could go King E4 and King D5, and I don't know whether
it's the white king that's looking active.
Yeah, that's the white king. So maybe I wasn't able to do that. He's gone King F6, and now I don't know. We have to see whether we can just go if we can go D7 and Rook D3. Then that's extremely, and yeah, you might well be able to simply go King E4, maybe simply. Actually, that's maybe the best way to do it. F6 H4. G5 maybe. I don't know. I'm wondering whether there's some subtle way to to try and well, march the pawn to B7. You bring it close to the king. I'm looking for some sort of scenario where I grab the pawn, run back, and just save the H pawn. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure that it's clear-cut winning. But I mean, yeah, you could just try it for white, and if it succeeds, then that's great. But I mean, Mark in a lot of trouble. I think that's what Andrew's doing. So yeah, I mean, whatever, Mark's in a huge amount of trouble here.
I do think we better pop in on the seniors.
Oh,
because I have promised Nigel Towers, helped with the organisation. I've promised him we will look at Stuart Rubin's game.
Indeed. So he was playing against.
Look good for Stuart, does it?
He was playing against Oliver Jackson. Let's have a look how that game went. So we've got e4, c5. So this is a Grand Prix attack. Ollie Jackson
lovely. Yes.
has been playing this for God knows how long. Castle's castle, takes, d6 from Stuart.
There's also something I have to say about Stuart Rubin.
Oh, right. Okay.
Which is he has a Morphy number of 3.
Okay.
So he's played someone who's played someone who played Paul Morphy.
My goodness me.
Yes. So Nigel's hoping he wins the seniors champion, and he doesn't know how many other people winning tournaments at the moment have a Morphy number of 3.
Oh, fantastic.
Whether anyone does. I imagine someone like Nigel Short would.
He's not that.
He's not that old. I mean, he was, but he would have, like when he was very young, he was playing very strong players.
Yeah, but Morphy was playing in the 1850s, so
1850s. Oh, so you'd. Oh, I can't work it out. You'd probably need to be older then, would you?
Well, I don't know. I mean, no, he could, when he was, if he played, I don't know. There might be some very old player that Nigel could have played when he was young. I don't know, but
yeah, I'm sure Nigel would have played a lot of old players when he was young.
Could be.
Anyway, Nigel would know. Well, actually, I'm not sure if Nigel would know, but he might know.
So d3 played, bishop d7. That's your Morphy number 4. That's right, Nizaya.
Ah, yes, me. I've also played Stuart too. Yes, you're Morphy 4 and I'm Morphy 4. Maybe a lot of people are Morphy 4.
Probably.
Because a lot of people have played Stuart.
Indeed. Anyway, a4, a6, knight c3, e6, f5. So, yeah. Oh, and good lord, a double pawn sacrifice came in. F6 and e5. Yeah, it's quite dangerous here. The knight's coming round to e4 here. So bishop g7 played, knight e4, knight c8, bishop g5. All these dark squares are quite painful. Queen c7, knight f6 check, king f8 and d4. My goodness, it's all happening here. So Stuart tried to
another pawn sack. Oliver Jackson is sacking these pawns like nobody's business.
Indeed. D takes c5, bishop e3. That's a nice move, actually. Just knight g5 is coming in, bishop c5 is coming in as well. Takes, rook d8.
He's a strong player, isn't he, Oliver Jackson?
He's a very good player. Yeah, very dangerous indeed. I think I've played him once. I think. Because he's north of England, isn't he?
He's north. I used to play him when he lived up north. Because I lived up north. Like in my first job, I lived up north. And he was always someone to be frightened of in the tournament.
Yeah, I played, I think, a weekend tournament up north. Again, yeah, I got attacked. That was that was it. But I managed to take all these pieces somehow. But yeah, no, they're dangerous players.
It was like him, Jeff Horner,
Jeff Horner,
Glenn House, and Brett Lund were the ones I'd have to watch out.
Yeah, yeah, all of them dangerous players, and. Jeff Horner was probably the strongest of the lot. He's a good player, and I think I played him when I played in Blackpool. Jeff Horner.
Blackpool. He always played.
So rook c8.
Oh, actually, I think I even gave Hebbs a lift somewhere around there. I was giving him a lift, and my car nearly veered off the roundabout. And Hebbs said he never wanted a lift ever again.
Ha!
I was doing a bit of dangerous driving. He must have put me off, I suppose.
Yes, I mean I've been driven by you many times without.
You're still alive. You're still alive.
Fear whatsoever. It's
I'm sure I'm a safer driver than Roger Emerson.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm not going to comment on that, but I think you're a very good driver. I think the only if I had to point out a weakness, I'd say that your reversing skills are not always.
That's true. Always, I need the car camera and the lines so that it shows you where exactly you're reversing to.
exactly. But I think in terms of normal driving, you're a very, very good driver. So,
Thank you.
It's knight f5. Oh, knight f5, and then a knight e6 from Oliver. That's
nice.
quite a nice finish there. So fe6 played, queen takes e6, knight e7 not possible because of rook f7. And after king d8, quite a few ways, but rook f5 was played. If gf, we go rook d1, so queen c5, b takes c5, and black resigned there. So hard luck, Stuart. Well played, Oliver.
Yeah.
Actually, very
nice game.
Very good attacking game.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at top board. Andrew Lewis against Timothy McGrew. Andrew Lewis seems to be a piece up. So in principle, that looks
Andrew Lewis must have won the other day. It's hard to remember. He was in trouble the other day, we thought.
No, he lost to Donald Mason. Apparently, again, we're allowing knight d6 check, unless this was not.
And maybe it's not board one.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll check it. I'll check it in the background.
Yeah. Then Jeremy Fraser Mitchell against Andrew Philip Smith. AP Smith. Not looking that good.
Board one is Ian Robson against Don Mason, and board two is Chris Duncan against Hassan Erdogan, and board three is what you're looking at now, Jeremy Fraser Mitchell.
Okay.
Against AP Smith.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Great, AP Smith.
White's quite a bit better here, but some swindling chances. We'll see. But exchange up in principle. Chris Duncan. Well, that's not going well. Oh, no. Well, rook c5 is possible. No, then we go rook d2 and c2. Yeah. No, this is lost, I'm afraid, for White. So looks like Chris Duncan is unfortunately going to lose this game. Although well played his opponent, Hassan Erdogan. David Bray against Anthony Milnes. That was a nice mating finish.
Oh yes, Anthony Milnes. Actually, Anthony Milnes and Stuart Rubin are both my club mates from Cavendish. I think they were playing on consecutive boards.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's
in the seniors.
Barry Heimer, co-author of a book written by Peter Wells. Well.
Yes. Okay. Good.
Which I'm trying now to. I was interviewed for it, but I can't. I'm trying to remember the title. I'm so sorry, Peter. I can't remember the title. Something about the mindset. That was definitely. It had mindset in it anyway. It was all about a good chess mindset. Very interesting book, especially the bit Simon, of course. So, Roger de Coverley. I always think of a knight of the round table when I hear his name. Roger de Coverley, against Ivan Mile. Very nice chap. I've played Ivan many times when I was very young, and also played him when I was much older. So, and I would have recognised him immediately.
That's fine. I don't think. I'm thinking I don't know him. I'm sure I'm wrong about that.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Yeah, I'm sure I do. I must do.
We met him for the last time at Bury St. Edmunds.
Bury St. Edmunds. I've got Bury St. Edmunds. Yes. Okay. No, I do. Yeah.
So there we are. Then we had and then these games. Well, this wasn't very much. Paul Botham against Kevin Williamson was agreed a draw, and then Roger Scowen against Robert Taylor was a win for Black, which looks quite convincing. So lots of excitement there in the seniors.
Yes. Yes. So I guess Oliver is now winning not winning. I mean, in the lead in the over 65s because him and Stuart were on 2 out of 2, and the over 50s. I just told you a second ago who was board one, and I've now forgotten. That was Ian Robson, Don Mason. They're both on 2, as well as Hassan Erdogan. Oh, you said Hassan is ahead against Chris Duncan, so that'll be he was equal in the lead going into this round. So he maybe will be on board one tomorrow. Yeah,
I don't see Don Mason actually. I'm just looking in the list of games. I don't see
Don Mason, Ian Robson. Ian Robson white and Don Mason black is what's meant to be happening.
Indeed, but unless I'm blind, I cannot see anything of that sort happening. So who knows? Missing in action. But
no, I don't.
It looks like in case, Hassan Erdogan is going to certainly move towards the top there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a little look. What's happening in this game? Oh, yeah. Well, this is not going well at all then. King G4 happening. So Ivan's a rather jolly chap. Yes, he's a very nice chap. Ivan, I like Ivan. So King G4, yeah. We're getting.
So it's Hebs is in trouble.
Just the weak.
Yeah.
Hebs is in big trouble here. Yeah, I think he's probably completely lost. I wasn't. I thought it was probably what's lost, but I wasn't 100% sure if you just stayed and just waited and could you possibly, get some sort of
chess improvement. It's all in the mindset by Peter Wells and Barry Hyman.
That's the one.
That is indeed the one. Yes.
Hey, Malik, good to see you.
And we should be seeing Peter Wells on Sunday. Sunday he's commentating.
Oh, really? Is he commentating?
Yeah. So that should be nice.
Oh, lovely. Ha! There'll be lots of disgraceful stories, I'm sure. So
I know. I'll have to keep him under control. Unlike you're always very reliable. Not.
I'm a pretty safe pair of hands, aren't I? I'll sink from time to time, which is the curveball, really. But in generally, I'm quite.
Well, that's what Peter says. He's generally very reliable. You see.
I don't know. Yeah, no. I just always remember, just hilarious talking to him all the time, but yeah, he's always got quite a few funny stories, but. It's should be great fun anyway. Very nice to see him commentate. That's really cool. Yeah, it looks like this is actually. I was going to say it's black, but actually we've got. I guess we can go knight c3 in this position, can't we? There's no bishop d2, and bishop b2 allows knight d1. So you're not actually yet. Well, what happened here? Bishop c1. Knight a2 was played. Okay, so he was worried about bishop b2, I guess. So he played knight a2, and then king f2 came in. And now I'm suggesting knight c3.
Knight back again.
Knight back again. Okay. Then we need something.
This is good for black, if anyone, right?
Black's pressing, but it could also go wrong for black, of course.
Yeah.
Because this pawn's a bit. But in principle, black is the one you'd expect to be pressing. I mean, he's also got the chance to create another passed pawn. But yeah, I think odds on the draw. This one, I think, looking at it.
Okay.
I think probably. Well, no, Matthew. I mean, not clear because I mean. I go knight c3, king g2, for example. If just say we go back to the previous position. In all fairness, I mean, if I go bishop b2, if I went, I suppose it's all about where you put the king and how do you progress. The problem is if I go king e6, then you go bishop b2, rook d3, and then you can take with check. But I'm sort of wondering though because king d5. Oh, knight takes c1 has been played. Rook c1, rook
e5 is over, says Matt Carr.
Okay, has Mark resigned? I'm guessing he has.
Looks like it's still going on ours. Yeah. We can make the thingy big in the moment.
Actually, looking at this one. Yeah.
Okay. It is over. Yes. It's true. Oh, Hebs.
Hard luck, Mark. He had a really good position, Mark, there, but very tough. Andrew Edge is tough. He's tough. He doesn't. What can you say? It's he's very difficult to put away. Rook e5 played. Now, if Rook e1, we'd have a similar scenario to Mark against Andrew, but here you can play king e1. And now just trying to think, actually, what is this? King e1. I mean, this looks very good for black, really. I mean, I don't particularly want to do something like rook e3 because then I've got rook c5, you know. So I think in general I want to bring my king across to protect this pawn, and then afterwards I'm going to
after rook c5, can we go b4, or is that too crazy?
Rook c5, b4. I'll take it.
You're just going to take everything and say, "Why have I given up all my pawns?" That might be a fair, yeah.
Could be. That's so. Yeah, I mean, I think king e6, and I guess I'm going to start whacking these up. We've had a bit of flinging, so now we've got a bit of whacking. And after rook e3, I'll go rook c5.
Okay. Well, then I suppose we better. If we start taking, it's just going to be a draw. If we take, and then they take, and it's going to be rook and one against rook and one. That must be a draw.
Yeah, I was vaguely wondering about a move like rook b3 and then coming here, but I just come here. King c6, f5, oh, g4, g5, f5. I can't believe I'm quicker with black. Well, that's going to be thrilling, but I don't think it's not any sort of win at all. I don't think. So I think that I would suggest king e1. Basically, that would be my my idea. The only thing I suppose you could you maybe play f4 just to gain a tempo. Because I mean, you can't go here because this is not actually winning.
b3.
That's a draw.
Huh. Yeah.
So so maybe you go f4 and then afterwards you go king e1. Well, maybe you just go rook e1 actually.
Black has to bring the king in, surely.
No, I mean I go b4 then, king f3. I'm trying to b2. Yeah, just b4 is winning. That's right. So rook e4, but then I go king e1. And the clever point about this, I've managed to chase your rook away from the 5th rank. Okay. And after king e6, I'll go rook c5. Haha. Yeah, I'm sure this is drawn. I'm sure this is drawn. But I think f4 is probably the most accurate here. Yeah, no, I don't think, yeah. Not sure. It felt around this stage that maybe black had something, but somehow it hasn't really materialized. Wouldn't b4 have been strong here? Wouldn't that have been a good idea? b4? It looks very strong, to be honest. Takes. Were we going bishop c1 again?
What if we go rook d1?
d1.
Yeah. And then just bring. Can we bring the king in?
I can win. Well, I'm going bishop b2.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, not so clear. Yeah, feels. You know, you look at this position, you think, oh, you know, Pass pawns galore. Great knight on c3. Bishop dominated, but maybe not that easy. Well, certainly not that easy. But
God has just messaged us blessings. Thank you, God.
Glad you're watching the show, God. It's a good choice, of course. Yeah, interesting. But I think probably f4 in this position, I think. And that will probably end up being a draw. Have the feeling that Marcus missed something there, but was obviously quite complicated. Oh, Neil Bradbury is lost. Oh, good Lord. Oh. We only got a little bit of the way through the game. So, yeah, this was looking quite normal and Catalani. White's got a slight edge here. But nothing amazing, really. Just well, those pawns, queenside pawns, are a bit weak, but we've got some kingside stuff as well. King f2, king e3, king e7, rook d4, bishop b3. That's a little bit irritating. e5 played. Ooh, that's a brave move. Takes, knight e4. Oh dear, it was just one of those things where you just lose lots of your pawns. So very nice game from Hamish, I have to say. He's in good form, actually. He's
he's been playing well. I was noticing it too. Yeah, and Black is winning a lot of games today as well, as the cards as Jose is pointing out. And board 10, so board 10, Black wins as well. Oh, Black wins. I thought.
Oh my goodness me! Oh
gosh, no, this is a. White was winning, yeah.
Yeah. But he went takes, king h3, knight e3.
What a tricky customer is Ollie Stubbs. Oh, look at that. He's just set up a cheapo.
Not only set it up, but actually executed it as well. He
executed a big cheapo there.
Wow.
Well done, Ollie Stubbs there. I didn't think you'd win that one.
My goodness me. So there we are. That was a big game. We've got Keith Arkle now again.
Peter Finn's one as well, I just saw.
Oh yeah. Keith Arkle against Ferrari fan. What's happening here?
Oh yeah, this was a tricky one, wasn't it? It was exchange up but not clear.
Yeah, I think this is going to be. I think rook takes d7 is happening. Rook takes h7 is happening now, and
then it's clearer.
Just going to be clear. Probably Keith, with everything that happened, Keith is just taking his time, just to just to be sure. But that's looking winning for one.
Adoyan would approve.
Right.
I'm not sure what about. Oh, Black is okay. Is that right?
He's against Theo. Wow, it's still going. Queen f7. Queen f7. Wasn't rook c7 very strong here?
Yes. No. So we thought White had a good attack before.
Yeah, I think rook c7 was going to be very strong. I think. Oh, good Lord! Louise went for this because rook takes e6 allows
rook b8, queen b8.
Rook b8, but f4 was played. Desperado.
Yes.
Move.
Well, yes. Well, you might.
So, I mean, rook h6 check looks quite strong here as well, I have to say. But rook e7 was played. Queen f6, queen h2, queen f4. Okay. So white is 2 pawns up with a pretty promising position. But
why did she go bishop d3 rather than bishop c4?
Bishop c4 would have been a good move.
Yeah.
But this is also very strong. I mean, we could even take and go bishop g6 if we particularly wanted to. So this is looking, still very strong. But well done, Theo, for resisting like that. We thought it was going to be over before. And then Peter Finn, it was just basically, can have a quick look at how it went. Oh, yeah, that's what Peter did. That's what we said. Knight and rook attacking g6 and then king invades. So it's a very good technique, actually. It's one of those things about outposts. When you've got all these nice outposts, you just swap your pieces on them all the time. and somehow nobody knows how or why. It just gives you a big advantage. Rook E1, Rook A1, King E5 coming in, and then everything falls. Very nice game from quite typical. Hard luck, Olga. Well played, Peter. So we have only got 2 games going. We've got McPhillips against Harvey, which we think is going to be a draw.
Yes.
I think F4 is probably the best move here, and followed by King E1, blocking with a king, and then afterwards we also have Keith Arkle against Ferrari fan. Yeah, this is just winning for white. It's, Robert. Crazy game with mutual blunders, but white emerged on top, and then Louise head against Theo. In principle, white is winning this. Dogged defense by Theo, but you'd sort of expect white to put this away.
Actually, she could still go bishop c4 now, couldn't she?
Bishop c4 is still possible. Yeah, you're covering everything still. It's how you want to do it, really. I mean, there are a lot of ways of winning this. As I said, good defense from Theo there. So so I mean, if we look at the standings here, so Andrew Ledger is now in the lead with 4 points.
Gosh, yes.
I don't think he's going to be joined by Marcus Harvey. I think that's going to be we're going to have how many players? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on 3.5. And then just a couple on 3, Joe McPhillips and Svetlana Suksikova. Keith will probably all have 3 as well. And then we're going to have Louise head on 2.5. And then the rest and Peter Finn as well will move to 2.5. So I mean it's going to be tight, but huge step forward by Andrew Ledger.
Okay, so Andrew Ledger has played Ollie Stubbs, Joe McPhillips, Peter Finn, Eggy, and Hebbs. So he does still have a lot of the other top players to play. So still Nick O'Malley and still Nick Pert and still Keith. What do you think are Andrew's chances of winning the British this year?
As good as anyone's, I think.
Yeah.
You know, it's I mean, you still got to play the top players, but then that you're also slowing them down. You know, if you get a good result. I think the thing about Andrew is he's a very solid and stable player. Plays a little bit within himself. You saw that yesterday against David Eggleston. I think he could have played for a win there, but he sort of brought it to a draw. But if you overdo things against him, and then like Mark did today, he's just completely capable of then just going ahead and beating you. It's you've got to be very careful with Andrew. It's. I think he's. I would expect him to be in the mix. The only thing is, of course, he's not a professional; he's an amateur, so stamina might play a part there. You'd expect the profs to be, to be able to last.
You'd find it a bit amazing if he could keep up with all the opening theory as well. But maybe it doesn't matter too much for the openings he plays.
He's an experienced player. He's got his stuff. He's not going for too much. He's maybe a bit vulnerable with the black pieces if you go for him, but I mean, he's survived a whole career already, so it's it's not going to be easy to put him away, I think I think he's got decent chances. I think you're probably still looking at I say Nick Pert and Danny Gormally as the main people with probably the people who you'd most expect to win, but with a half a point advantage there, and he doesn't need to do anything crazy. So, I mean, if you make a couple of draws against Nick and Danny, then that's pretty good, really. And the other person, of course, I think who's definitely in the mix is Marcus Harvey, who's been playing so well.
Yes. Was he on? He's going to be 2.5, we think, as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Marcus, I think, could have had more points. I feel, he's. But yeah, I mean, he is actually playing well, I think, I mean, he's going to be dangerous against anyone. So
what about Eggy? David Eggleston?
Never write off anyone. Yeah, possible. I don't know. I mean, so far, I mean, he lost against Danny, and I think he was lost against Andrew as well. So I think hasn't shown championship form yet, I would say. But yeah, I mean, it can always happen, right? I mean, I think there's not such a difference between all the players that you don't say, a player of this strength, of David's strength, and IM can just go on a run and score points, and all of a sudden you're there.
Yeah, because it's only 4 games left. To get a good result over 4 games, it could be any of them doing that.
Exactly. So it's just really. I think it's anyone's game. As I said, I would say that probably Nick and Danny are the most favourite. I think Marcus is somewhere around there, and Andy with half a point advantage is also really really good chances.
All right, says Matt Carr. So let's see.
I would assume 1-0 to Keith. Well played, Keith. Hard luck for Rari fan. Crazy game, and we've still got. He's played F4. Joe. So I think that's a good move. I think
this one we think is a draw. We think. Yeah.
We're King E1 now, and a draw.
Yeah. And the other one that's still going, I've now forgotten, was also. Yeah. This one we think is better for Louise. Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably winning for Louise, this one. So I mean, I'm not sure. You have the feeling if you're feeling a little bit nervous, then just Queen takes B4 and Bishop G6, and because I think she's also good at her end games as well. So I don't think that would. Yeah, she would finish it off if she did that. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you end up picking this pawn up on B4 as well, and it looks very, very good there.
So, all right then, excellent. So then we're going to be back. What are we? We're Wednesday today, Thursday tomorrow. So we're going to be back at 4:30 tomorrow.
Indeed.
So I hope we will see you all here to see the next exciting instalment in the British Championships. It's turning out to be a really nice tournament, isn't it?
Yeah. Thanks very much, Nisay. It's turning out it's good fun to watch, and plenty of interesting players and playing interesting chess. So what more can you ask for from a chess tournament than that?
Yeah. Okay. So thank you, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow, and thanks very much for watching.
Thanks for watching.